here with the Professor of International Business Strategy, Professor van Gorp. Welcome.
Thank you.
What's your opinion about the fashion business these days?
It's a booming business and it's more global than ever due to the fact that fashion is produced anywhere in the world. Lots of different locations for very different markets in Western Europe, US, but in many places. So it's a booming business.
Has it been affected by the global financial crisis? Lots of businesses have had problems over the last few years. Has it affected fashion as much as any others?
Oh yes, because people, due to the crisis, have spent less on clothing, less on fashion in general, which of course affects the industry. It affects the factories that are producing, and I suppose it will have effects in different locations.
How has the fashion industry adapted to these difficult times?
There has been more concentration, so smaller players are probably the players that have lost market. Players that were already in difficulty, they probably are not existent anymore. So you really see a concentration, bigger players that dominate the market.
How do you view the emerging Dutch fashion business? Is it very vibrant at the moment?
I would say it's very vibrant, especially due to the fact that it combines design, architecture and fashion, which I think is a very innovative approach to position yourself as a creative industry.
What are some of the major players here?
Some of the we have of course G-Star. The Netherlands is known as a country of jeans. I think we have the biggest jeans industry in the world. So companies like G-Star are important for us and other jeans companies for the market.
What does Nyenrode University do to prepare tomorrow's business managers?
Well, it's important to us that people that study here subscribe and live the values of leadership, entrepreneurship and stewardship. Now, if you were to apply that to the fashion industry, for example, you would also think, how is fashion produced? Where is it produced? Under which circumstances? So what is the effect of the production on the environment, on people that work there, on the labor force? So that would be very important for us, that students who follow our programs, that they are aware of those kind of effects.
Is the fashion business growing in the Netherlands? Is it easy for graduates from here to find work in the Dutch fashion business?
We have quite a number of alumni that have ended up in the fashion industry. It's a creative, entrepreneurial industry, and if you go back to the roots of Nyenrode, it's really about entrepreneurship. So it's by business and for business. It's founded in 1946 by business. So it has this very entrepreneurial spirit, and the fashion industry is especially an industry where entrepreneurship is valued and where you can have a lot of creative ideas and actually implement them.
Do you have some close ties then with a lot of fashion companies, for example, to send people out on placements or to do internships? Is that part of the courses here?
There's not a special focus on fashion industry, but people end up there. So we had, for example, our alumnus Prof, who was at Gucci. We have a lot of alumni who actually end up there or start their own business. And it can, these days, of course, the web shops are also very, very fashionable. So, for example, last year, two alumni, one of Ghana, one alumni from Japan, they started a business in Ghana, a web shop, where they sell fashion now. And it's, this is the way entrepreneurship and fashion merge, and that's typically something where Nyenrode is known for.
Is there a real culture of entrepreneurship in the Netherlands?
Yes, there is, because the fact that we are a small country, we need to be entrepreneurial and we need to look outside. So our market is most of the time outside the Netherlands. So you need to have this entrepreneurial and spirit. We are a country of trade.
What, in your opinion, are the key essential elements to be a successful entrepreneur or to start your own company? And what do you do here to develop those skills?
For us, it's important that people can take the lead, so that they implement their ideas. That's where we're known for, that we actually educate people that not only know the theory, but that they actually can apply it right away. So we are typically known for rolling up the sleeves and that people go out there in an international environment and just start to fix things and work. So that is one part. And there your entrepreneurial spirit, so that you actually see the opportunities, grasp them, but then also implement it. That's important. And very important to us as well is the stewardship that entrepreneurs and leaders can have and should have in our view, so that they have an eye for the environment they operate in. So if we go back to the production, if you produce jeans, it's heavy on the environment. So we are very much in favor of companies, also Dutch companies, that find ways of how to do the washing of jeans, but at the same time to do it that the water stays clean, or at least is cleaned afterwards, that it is less has less impact on the environment. So we like to see those two merge, in fact, that you have on the one hand the production and the creative ideas, and on the other hand the impact that it has on society, and how can you make that a positive impact.
So sustainability is something that concerns you here as well?
Oh, very much so, but that goes back to our roots. So we always have put a lot of emphasis since our founding in 1946 on also not just educating people with stuffing them with a lot of information and theory, but how do you behave. So the behavioral component has always been a very important element in our education, and that is only that importance has only grown.
In your opinion, what has made the university such a success over the years?
It's entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, there is little you need to explain. If you come on campus, you feel the vibe. It's our ties with the business community, and the fact that we not only educate people to be good entrepreneurs, but also to have to be very much aware in which environment you operate, and I think that combination made Nyenrode a successful university.
What's your advice for young managers when they leave here, and in particular young managers who are going off to work in the fashion industry?
Well, I would say that they first of all have their entrepreneurial ideas, and that they implement them and that they stick to them, because you can have lots of good ideas, but the real difference is, do you grasp the opportunity and do you really have a long breath to actually implement them? So that would be one. Secondly, to have again an eye for the environment. So if you think about having nice fashion, what is the impact when you produce it? So that would be a very important element. And it's not just because you want to be a good human being. I mean, that can be an important driver, but it's also about business. Because if you look at the future, with the scarcity of resources, I think actually it's the only way you can go. So having that combination can be a unique selling point, and in my view it should be a unique selling point, and if you can be the front runner, then that's a very strong let's say advantage that you will have.
What are your personal views about fashion?
Well, I like fashion. Fashion is a way of communicating. Like the words you speak, the expression you have in your face, the attitude. So it's a package. And I think fashion, like anything else we do, is a message and is part of your whole being. So I see it as an important element.
So you think it plays an important role in people's everyday lives, for example?
Yeah, it's a way of communicating. As I said, like we speak, we walk, we talk. And our expression in our face, the words we say and the clothes we wear sends out a message, whether we like it or not, but it sends out a message, and I think we should be aware of that.
Is fashion overrated or superficial, which is one criticism that a lot of people level at the industry?
No, I don't see that at all. I think you should value it as many things in life on its merits. And if you see it as part of as a tool to communicate, and you are very authentic, so it's not something that takes over your life. Then it's just one of the things that you that is your daily, it's part of your daily life.
Is there anything in the fashion industry that needs to change, in your opinion?
I would go back to the fact that I think there is too much emphasis at the moment on producing against the lowest price, and that is not sustainable on the long run. So of course it's important to have low prices, I understand that, and it can be very important for business models and to actually earn money. So I'm not saying it's not important, but sometimes it's too important. And if it is at the cost of people, environment, I think we have a task to look at it in a different way. And I think we arrived at the point that that is the case. So we have to look at different ways how we produce, because it's not sustainable.
But it can be easy to educate people about it being quality over quantity, for example.
Yes, that's one part, the awareness. But we need to be, it's not just the companies, it's also the consumers, of course, because the demand comes from consumers. If the demand stops, and if we are willing to put a little bit more money for a t-shirt, instead of 2 it can be 3 euros, or instead of 3 it can be 4 euros, a lot of the problems that we have and that we cause can be solved.
Do you see it then as similar to the issue with, for example, fair trade food, whereby it's about educating people, okay, to spend a little bit more money on the coffee or the banana, because ultimately it's going to help the producer, the raw materials where the cotton is coming from or whatever. So it's a case of saying, well, you might be paying a premium, but it's for a good reason.
Yes, it is. I think it is to be compared. I think if you look around the world, there is a scarcity of resources, and there is a respect that we want for every human being. And at the same time we want people to have their jobs. So it's far too easy to say, okay, you can't do this because in our view it may not be the right thing to do, because for other people it's their job. So we also have to be aware and very, let's say, aware of these issues and see what can be the best solutions. And for that we need government, we need consumers, we need the business community. So it really is a joint effort.
How do you see fashion and its importance and its place in society developing or changing over the next 5 or 10 years?
Well, I think if you really look at these issues and you can make them to an advantage, so you can actually put some innovation in this whole industry, it can have even a bigger impact also in other industries. So it can be an example to other industries of how to cope with these new developments and how to be prepared for the future.
Okay, Professor, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.